another grim milestone, the world surpassing 1 million deaths from the coronavirus.
Under observation has tested positive for the novel coronavirus.
The coronavirus pandemic. The death toll rising in the U.S., more than 60 deaths.
Nobody expected this. Nobody thought they'd be treating so many so quickly. And it's not like flu. It is chronic pneumonia, and it is killing.
In Wuhan, Hubei province, China, a novel coronavirus outbreak was first documented. As of this writing, it has now been confirmed on 6 continents and in more than 100 countries. Coronaviruses are a large family of zoonotic viruses that cause illness ranging from the common cold to severe respiratory diseases. Zoonotic means these viruses are able to be transmitted from animals to humans. There are several coronaviruses known to be circulating in different animal populations that have not yet infected humans. COVID-19 is the most recent to make the jump to human infection. Common signs of COVID-19 infection are similar to the common cold and include respiratory symptoms such as dry cough, fever, shortness of breath, and breathing difficulties. In more severe cases, infection can cause pneumonia, severe acute respiratory syndrome, kidney failure, and death. Video of Dr. Samira Mubareka from Sunnybrook Hospital.
So there's a fairly wide spectrum in terms of clinical illness. It does sound like a lot of the cases can be mild. There are definitely some more severe cases, and those can be pneumonia, or they can lead to respiratory failure, and there have been a few deaths. But the symptoms are really non-specific, so they're a lot like what we would see with influenza virus. So those are things like fever, dry cough, sore throat, muscle aches, headaches, those kind of things. So unfortunately, there's no specific symptom associated with this particular virus.
According to current data, time from exposure to onset of symptoms is usually between 2 and 14 days, with an average of 5 days. The year 2020 is one for the books mainly due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which placed government efforts under tight public scrutiny, especially on President Rodrigo Duterte's response to the crisis. Since mid-March, when the government declared one of the world's longest and strictest lockdowns, Duterte has been routinely conveying talks to upgrade the open of the government's battle against the illness.
Kababayan ko, baka na minamaliit ninyo yung problema at kontak kayo ng kontak, and suddenly sabay-sabay itong puputok, then we will have a problem. Well, kasi ang sinasabi namin, huwag kayong lumabas muna ng bahay. I understand that the workers who are working in Manila or outside in Manila, residing outside but working inside, just the same, you continue to spread the disease by saliva, contact, and everything. Makinig kayo. This is a mandatory duty. It does not have to have a law because the proclamation itself suggests that there is really a need for you to work with government. And if you violate this, then you can be liable for dereliction of duty or other regulatory measures which you are supposed to do, and do not do it, and then you violate it. Pray for all doctors and health professionals and workers. Pray for your government. Pray for the country. Even as we maintain physical distance from each other, let us remain strong, united in spirit, to fight this dreaded disease. And with our unity, the blessing of God, we shall overcome. Maraming salamat po.
As of today, the total number of active cases is 26,784, recoveries 449,615, death 9,398, and the total cases is 485,797.
And yet another variant of COVID-19 has been detected in the UK. This mutation was originally identified earlier this month in South Africa. Now the UK is shutting down travel from South Africa. Leaders of countries around the world are trying to stay ahead of this new highly transmissible variant. Maggie Rulli joins us from London with the latest on that. Maggie, good morning. It seems like the hits just keep on coming. What do we know about this new mutation?
Well, Diane's a good point. This is not the news anyone wanted the day before Christmas, but this is a new mutation. So scientists caution that there's still a lot of more research that needs to be done, a lot of things we need to learn about it. But it's serious enough that officials here in the UK quickly came out calling it something they were extremely concerned about. So there's one we're talking about that happened yesterday. It's a variant. They believe it originated in South Africa. They say they already have at least 2 cases here in the UK, and they believe that it spreads more quickly. That's what they're so worried about. They think it could have been even behind that dramatic rise in cases that we saw in South Africa as well. So something to definitely keep our eye on. Definitely they're concerned about it. And Diane, as you said, the hits keep coming because this is the second new variant that the UK government has announced just this week. Earlier, if you remember, there was another variant. We believe it originated here in the UK. That one they also think is more contagious. So that's 2 in 1 week of potentially more contagious strains. It definitely has people on edge here in the city, throughout the world, countries scrambling to keep up, closing their borders. But Dan, I do want to note that, again, people are still studying this right now. It doesn't appear that these new strains are more deadly. And also major vaccine makers like Pfizer and Moderna say while they're studying the variant, they do not think it's going to change the vaccine's effectiveness. So a little bit of good news we're trying to hang on to there, Diane.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson imposes national lockdown on England to combat new COVID-19 variant.
The whole United Kingdom has been engaged in a great national effort to fight COVID. And there's no doubt that in fighting the old variant of the virus, our collective efforts were working and would have continued to work. But we now have a new variant of the virus. This new variant is between 50 and 70% more transmissible. That means you're much, much more likely to catch the virus and to pass it on. With most of the country already under extreme measures, it's clear that we need to do more together to bring this new variant under control while our vaccines are rolled out. In England, we must therefore go into a national lockdown which is tough enough to contain this variant. That means the government is once again instructing you to stay at home. You may only leave home for limited reasons permitted in law, such as to shop for essentials, to work if you absolutely cannot work from home, to exercise, to seek medical assistance, such as getting a COVID test, or to escape domestic abuse.
The new COVID-19 variant known as B.1.1.7 was first detected in the United Kingdom in September. In November, around a quarter of the reported COVID-19 cases in the country were found to be of the new variant of SARS-CoV-2, the virus that caused COVID-19. Health experts have said that viruses naturally mutate. Scientists earlier said they observed minor mutations in the coronavirus that have not impacted its ability to spread or cause in any significant way. Last year, December 2, 2020, UK approves Pfizer coronavirus vaccine, a first in the West country to allow mass inoculations against a disease that has killed more than 1.4 million people worldwide.
The potential turning point millions have been waiting for. With approval this morning, people in the UK can start getting the Pfizer vaccine early next week. The first Western country to move from the trial phase to vaccinating the public.
We've been waiting and hoping for the day when the searchlights of science would pick out our invisible enemy and give us the power to stop that enemy.
Distribution is a challenge. The Pfizer vaccine requires a 2-dose course, 21 days between shots, and it has to be stored at ultra-cold temperatures. So the rollout will begin in hospitals with cold storage, prioritizing the over 80s. Next, the elderly in care homes, and after it will go out in batches, descending by age group. The military will assist. Football stadiums, conference centers, and town halls are expected to become vaccination centers. By January, even local pharmacies here will be able to give the shots. This is the biggest and by far the most complex vaccination program in British history. The Pfizer vaccine was developed with the European company BioNTech. I spoke to its inventor, Uyur Shahin.
This is an extremely important milestone, and we are happy, relieved, and grateful that we achieved this milestone.
How do you think history will remember what we are embarking on now?
It's indeed the beginning of the end of the pandemic.
Words we've longed to hear, now finally backed by action to make them so. Richard Engel, NBC News, London.
Britain on Tuesday, December 8th, began the biggest vaccination program in the country's history, with the 90-year-old grandmother becoming the first person to receive the COVID-19 vaccine produced by Pfizer-BioNTech.
Begin with live pictures out of London. St. Thomas's Hospital in London. That's the very hospital where the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was treated for coronavirus during the first wave. Of course, now the world well into the second wave, and today, as the world responds to the pandemic, a very big moment. The UK is the first Western country to start vaccinating people against the coronavirus. It's the first in the world to begin mass inoculations with the Pfizer vaccine. And here is the first person in line to get it.
Just going to be squeezing your arm, okay? Okay. Relax your arm for me. Just relax. Hold on.
Margaret Keenan there, having her sleeve rolled up and getting the jab, as they call it in the UK. 6:31 Greenwich Mean Time, 1:31 in the morning Eastern Time, and you can see the cameras and the flashes popping as reporters from around the world captured that moment. Here's another nice moment. Staffers at the University Hospital in Coventry saluting the 90-year-old grandmother as she headed out. You can't see the smile, but you know it's there under her mask. Margaret Keenan, the first in the world, outside of clinical trials, of course, to get the Pfizer vaccine. Our coverage begins live in London with Cindy Palm. And Cindy, let's talk more about that big moment. There's a lot of emotion among health officials in the UK about now the vaccine program beginning. They're calling it V-Day there, I understand, a very significant turning point.
A very significant turning point indeed. Good morning, Heather. Margaret, this was an early birthday present for her. She turns 91 next week, and she spoke out after getting the shot. Take a listen.
Now I've done it, and hopefully it'll help other people to come along and do as I did. You know, try and do the best to get rid of this terrible thing.
Meanwhile, in the Philippines Department of Health announced that the UK virus variant is now detected in the Philippines. The DOH and the PGC today confirmed the detection of the B117 SARS-CoV-2 variant or UK variant in the country from a Filipino who arrived from the United Arab Emirates on January 7 yielded positive genome sequencing results, they said in a statement.
Nangyari na nga ang pinangangambahan, nakarating na sa Pilipinas ang bago at mas nakahawang variant ng SARS-CoV-2 na sanhi ng COVID-19. Mismong si Health Secretary Francisco Duque III ang nag-report nito kay Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte kagabi. Nakita ang bagong variant sa isang 29 anyos na lalaking taga Kamuning sa Quezon City. Nung nasa Pilipinas daw, hindi naglalabas ang lalaki na kasama sa bahay ang kanyang girlfriend at mga magulang. Pero noong December 27, pumunta ang lalaki at ang kanyang girlfriend sa Dubai para sa isang business meeting.
Nagkaroon po sila ng isang business meeting while in Dubai with another individual on December 30. They were reported to have visited malls, groceries, and tourist sites.
Umalis ng negative sa Pilipinas pero pag uwi sa Pilipinas, positibo na sa bagong variant ng COVID-19 at may pneumonia.
Dumating po sila, Ginoong Pangulo, sa Manila via Emirates EK332 nito pong nakaraan January 7. Sinwab po sila, which is the SOP, in the NAIA Terminal 3 upon arrival and went to the chosen quarantine facility sa isa pong hotel. Ang test result was released January 8, yung kanila pong RT-PCR, at lumabas po na positive.
Negative naman daw ang girlfriend. Naka-quarantine na sila sa isang pasilidad sa Quezon City. Wala naman daw ibang kontak ang nagpositibo sa bagong variant ng COVID bukod sa kanyang mga magulang.
Both allegedly had no travel outside of Quezon City noong December or no known exposure to a confirmed case or a setting with known cases. The only known contacts are the case's parents who are currently asymptomatic and staying in their residence.
May bagong monster na naman. And I pray to God really na sana na hindi ito more dangerous, more toxic than the original COVID.
Kahapon, sinabi na ng DOH Undersecretary Rosario Vergere na walang dapat baguhin sa mga protocol kapag may nakita ng bagong variant ng COVID-19 sa Pilipinas.
Well, wala tayong masyadong babaguhin, Joseph. Ang kailangan lang natin gawin ay maging mas strict tayo dun sa compliance natin sa mga standards na meron tayo for health. Tandaan natin, wala pong nabago sa mode of transmission. Pareho pa rin po ang mode of transmission, that is through droplet. At ito pong ang sinasabi lang, itong mga variant na ito, mas nakakapag-increase ng transmissibility. Ibig sabihin, mas nakakahawa.
Dahil naman sa bagong variant, mas matindi ngayon ang pangangailangan sa bakuna.
Duque says dealed for 25 million doses of Sinovac COVID-19 vaccine. Here's a video of Duterte's Talk of the Nation address defending the Chinese vaccine.
Sa Talk to the Nation address ni Pangulong Duterte kagabi, dinepensahan din niya ang mga Chinese vaccine sa mga nagdududa sa bisa nito.
Now, the bakuna that Secretary Galvez is buying is as good as any other bakuna na naimbento ng mga Amerikano o mga Europeans. Hindi nagkulang ang Chinese. Hindi sila nagkulang sa otak. Bright itong mga incheck at they would not venture kung hindi sapat, it is not safe, sure, and secure. Yung tatlo, it must be safe, sigurado, sure, and secure. That is the guarantee. Ako, kung ano ang piliin ni Secretary Galvez would bind me. Parang ako na rin ang bumili ng bakuna. So, hindi ako magbili ng bakuna na hindi tama. Itong Sinopharm, pati Sinovac, nabakunahan na nila lahat halos ang kanilang, kaya normal na ang buhay nila ngayon.
The big question is, when will this pandemic end?